Hello and welcome to this week's Hippie Hyena. Now, this is going to be probably the most difficult Hippie Hyena I ever made. The reason why is this is going to be the last one. The reasons why, you could probably guess if you're a long time watcher, that my view count has been around sort of 6, sometimes higher, but it never sort of, gets to a sort of reasonable, stable amount. It never has, and for some reason, people aren't watching. But more than that, there is this story about two wolves. I think it's often, I've heard it from a number of sources, and it's often attributed to Native Americans, but whether or not it is, I don't know. But I've heard it from a number of places. It's sort of a famous story, and the story is basically that every single person has two wolves inside them. One wolf which is focused on like negative stuff, like bitterness, anger, rage, all the sort of generally negatively associated feelings and thoughts, and the other one is sort of focused all on sweetness and light. And these two wolves are sort of fighting each other continuously, and the question is asked, which one wins? And the answer is given, it's the one you feed. And the thing is about Hippie Hyena as a sort of concept is that basically every week I've got to delve into watching the worst content out there, the worst people, the absolute scum of the earth, and consume their content quite highly, because the videos that make it onto Hippie Hyena are probably about a fifth of the videos that I have to watch. And in some sense that doesn't sound like a lot. It's not a lot of videos, 5 or so unpleasant videos per week, depending on what's going on and how easy things are to find and so on. But I've got to put my head in that headspace, in the headspace of fighting these incredibly unpleasant, vicious, and stupid people. And, I kind of feel like the story of the wolves is right. Like the person that you are is based around what you do, what you practice. And I've been practicing putting my head into this bitter perspective for a long time, once a week at least, and that's kind of no good. It's feeding the wrong wolf, And I think if the viewing figures had like taken off, maybe I'd be feeling differently about it now. I don't know. Honestly, I might be. I don't know. I may not. I'd like to think I wouldn't, but maybe I would. But the fact that there's been very low viewing figures and very few comments as well. There has been some lovely people. I'd like to specifically do a shout out to a viewer called Sarah Y, who has been a very nice supporter and has, almost single-handedly got me through continuing to make the channel when I thought nobody was watching at all. So thanks very much. I really do appreciate it, and I'm sorry that I can't continue doing this, because, if I was enjoying it, if I was really enjoying making it, I could do it even though the viewing figures are very low. And I'm not kind of angry about it or bitter that the viewing figures were low, I should say, because I can understand why. There are a number of things which I think have impeded this channel's growth. One of them, in particular, is that obviously I hide my identity completely. I don't show my face. I use a rant sonar or an avatar and a voice changer to hide my identity. And the reason why I did that is because there are things that I want to do with my life that making a channel like this could harm if I was identified as the person behind it. I can see why people don't want to watch a channel which has this kind of old-fashioned format, which I thought, I was hoping that people would take to be, in some ways, as it was intended, a sort of ironic, sarcastic homage to the sort of right-wing media of the sort of 2016 era, when all of these sort of rant sonars were going around. And also, of course, as I said, it would afford me some degree of anonymity. But I think in some ways that format is so kind of dead that it doesn't get interpreted in any other way as being kind of hokey and old-fashioned. And I think also people they want to see the person's face, and form a kind of not exactly a parasocial relationship, but it engenders trust, and it's more the form that is popular today. And me too. I don't blame people for not wanting this kind of format. I probably don't either. The channels that are the sort of politics commentary channels that I generally watch, none of them have this format. They all have usually they're kind of recordings from live streams, actually in video essays, but with the exception of like Sean and maybe Three Arrows, pretty much all of them show themselves. There is Chud Logic, of course, although I don't watch him anymore because it's kind of gone a bit weird. Don't know what's going on there. But the vast majority, I generally prefer to see the person who's talking to me, and I just don't want to change my format to be that one that people want, for the reasons I said before. And so, I don't blame people. I'm not bitter about it at all. I totally get it. At the end of the day, the real reason why I'm drawing an end to this is that I suppose my time is very precious to me at the moment. For one reason or another, I don't want to go into my personal life, but it's become more precious. And I don't want to spend my time doing something that I feel like it makes me miserable. And in addition to that, I feel like it kind of makes me a worse person. I feel like in some ways, Hippie Hyena, the character of Hippie Hyena, because I'm not like that all the time in my everyday life, because that would be exhausting for everyone involved. The character of Hippie Hyena is kind of the worst aspects of me in a way, sort of sarcastic, critical, bitter, and so I've been feeding the wrong wolf, as I said. I'm feeding the bad wolf, and I want to start feeding the good wolf. And I still think politics is important, but I just guess it's not for me to be involved in. I guess I don't have the stomach for it, really, is what I'm saying. Because eventually it kind of gets to me personally, I suppose, and there's not really that much I can do about it. I can make fun of these people, these awful people, and call them dumb, because they are dumb, and that kind of stuff. But I don't really think that I'm making things better for anyone, really. Maybe for the tiny few people who watch my channel, who I am, as I say, very grateful towards. But it's, how do I put this? The output that I'm getting from it is just not equaling the input that I'm giving up into it. Does that make sense? So anyway, I'm really sorry, and I'm gonna leave the channel up so people can look at my old videos if they want to. But obviously, I know that this kind of content tends to have a bit of a lifespan. But I'll leave it. I won't delete it. And who knows? Maybe in the future I'll develop a stomach for it, or something will go disastrously wrong with my therapy, and I'll get back into it. But I kind of hope I won't, And in the meantime, I'm going to go and feed the right wolf. And I would kind of encourage anyone who's listening, if anyone is, to do the same. Because maybe I've come to the conclusion that a lot of this politics stuff online is kind of not very healthy for people. It's not very healthy for me, I think. So I'm going to bow out. So this is... It kind of hurts, but I've got to say it for the last time. Hippie Hyena out. Goodbye.